The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
30-14, the Dallas Cowboys dominate the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. Bank of America Stadium was nothing but money for the Cowboys as they take care of business. In Week 15, they improved to 6-8 on the season, but 5 of their 6 wins have now come on the road. The road Cowboys taking care of business as we welcome you in to Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco. We've got Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans breaking down what just happened in Week 15. The Cowboys back on the road again, which apparently seems like home for Dallas. The fact that they're able to take care of business like they did again is a huge key to building momentum, whether you make the playoffs or not at the end of the year.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, to me, this was the definition of complementary football. All 3 phases for the Dallas Cowboys had their share in this game. When you look at it offensively, balanced attack, led by Rico Dowdle. He had 149 yards on the ground. That offensive line was doing a great job of creating lanes for him to operate in there. And that allowed Cooper Rush to be cool, calm, and collected in the pocket. He had 3 TDs out there as well. He did turn the ball over one time on the fumble, but other than that, I mean, he did his thing. He drove the bus extremely well. CeeDee Lamb pitched in with 116 yards, receiving out there as well. So offensively, they did their thing. And the complimentary part was they dominated time of possession, 33 minutes out there. That allowed that defense to be fresh. That allowed that defense to play with a lead. And what they were able to do was pin their ears back and get after Bryce Young and make things hard for him the entire afternoon. You talk about 4 takeaways for this defense. And to me, when you're able to do that, offensively, dominate time of possession with the ground game, and defensively, get after the quarterback and take the football away, you're going to get a lot of W's in this league.
You're absolutely correct, Barry. And these guys were dominant on defense. That's the thing that really showed up for me today. Kyle, you talked about how these guys don't really have any playoffs. They have a slight chance, right? earlier in the day, we said they had what was
less than 1%
less than 1% chance. There you go, 0.5. Okay, they had a thread of a chance. I think it was what the term was. But that doesn't matter. You're playing for the name on the back of your jersey. You're playing for your brothers that you've been grinding with since the early spring. You're playing for the star on the side of your helmet. There's a lot of pride that goes along with that, and you took another step forward today in regards to some of the leadership that's on this team. What were guys going to do when their back was against the wall and they weren't playing for anything? Were they going to show up, or were they going to take the easy way out and say, you know what, the check's hitting the same, I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the house and count down this clock until it's time to get back on this plane? They didn't do that. They stepped up, they competed, they did everything that they could to affect the outcome of this game, and they ultimately walked away the victors today.
That's exactly right. They came in, did their job, said, you know what, we're going to take advantage of these reps. We're going to have the opportunity to win the game on the road. The Cowboys entered this matchup with a 4-2 record away from home, and they go to Carolina where they've had some success in the past. We fast forward to the second quarter. Dallas wanted to find CeeDee Lamb early. That's exactly what they did. Lamb for 28 yards all the way down to the Carolina 20-yard line. Then 3 plays later, why not go back to one of your top receivers? Your top receiver, one of the top in the NFL, Rush, lofts it up for Lamb, who twists back to the ball, and he holds on for 6. What a play, Isaiah, from CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb just continues to show up for you whenever you need it, and that's what you want out of your wide receiver one. He's one heck of a playmaker. You see him get the hand swipe away, falls away. That is a very difficult catch that he just simply makes look routine.
Next drive for Carolina, Bryce Young's pass tipped by Jordan Lewis goes back to Eric Kendricks, and he has the interception. This would lead to a Brandon Aubrey field goal to put Dallas up 10-0. The play made by Jay Lou, Eric Kendricks says thank you very much, and it turns into points the other way. Later in the quarter, Dallas on 3rd and 1, trying to go up 17. Cooper Rush fumbles off of play action, a league-high 9th turnover in the red zone this year. Not great from quarterback 2. It was just an ugly, ugly play.
It was ugly. I mean, you got to have better ball security right there. He tried to get it back for the team, but Carolina wanted a little bit more right there.
Only 55 seconds remain in the half. Bryce Young and Jalen Coker only needed 10. He's wide open on the busted coverage. He goes 83 yards to the house. It's going to be 10-7 Cowboys at the break, but Carolina with the momentum. They start with the football in the 3rd quarter. First play from scrimmage in the second half. Osa Odighizuwa gets home, The recovery off of the strip sack is there for Chauncey Golston. A massive play for momentum, giving it back to Dallas. They take over at the Carolina 29-yard line. 5 plays later, Cooper Rush hits a wide-open Jalen Tolbert in the back of the end zone. He gets both feet down. Dallas up 17-7. They go to Bryce Young again. Dallas on defense, putting pressure on the young quarterback, and they get to him again. This time it's Chauncey Golston. That forces a Dallas stop. How did they take advantage? How about with Cooper Rush's best throw of the day? A dime in the back of the end zone off of a bootleg outright. Jalen Brooks is there for the diving touchdown. His first career score has Dallas up big. That was enough to ice it because the Cowboys' defense was fantastic. They had 6 sacks, including 2 from that man, Micah Parsons. Dave Canales had no answer for the Dallas defense. They had 4 takeaways in the game. As we take a look at some of the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite, 30-14, the final in Carolina. The Carolina Panthers are the only NFC team to never score more than 20 points in a regular season game against the Cowboys as the home team. That continues forward after a dominant win here in Week 15. We've got plenty more to come here on Cowboys OT. We're going to go one-on-one with Cooper Rush, Osa Odighizuwa later in the show. But when we come back, we're going to hear from Mike McCarthy as he heads to the podium.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT. The Cowboys get the win on the road against the Carolina Panthers, 30-14, the final in Week 15. I'm Kyle Yeomans, soon to be joined by Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback. But let's hear from Mike McCarthy at the podium out in Carolina.
Across the board.
I really felt they just stayed the course. It was a quick week. Obviously, coming off the Monday night game, had a good week of prep. Trayvon's news was a bit of a surprise. So. We had some guys go down today too. But they're doing a great job as a football team. They just keep playing.
Clarence, also just picking back on, can you talk about the resilience of this team? Certainly going back to Monday night, but even today, you have a great first half. You fumble the ball, give them momentum going into the second half, and then you come back right out there and get the ball right back and just kind of score.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we've always been a resilient bunch, and today, that's a great example of it, because frankly, the way the first half went, we felt like we were really in charge. I think we were +6 big play, category at that time, and that was really the only 2 plays they made in the first half. With the fumble recovery was self-inflicted, and they hit the big play on the broken coverage. But yeah, they were good at halftime, and we got to play better moving forward. Obviously we got Tampa Bay coming in next. Too many penalties. We've got to take care of the football, but the takeaways outstanding. I thought the defense really set the tone for us in the first half. And Terp is magnificent, and with special teams, the field position battle. I didn't see the field position battle, but I assume we were ahead there. But +3 turnover ratio. Those are the basics that we want to play to. I think we had 20 more total plays than they did. I don't know what the time of possession came out, but that's the way we want to play. We want to play balance on offense, get our trips to the plate in the run game, and be smart in the passing game.
Mike Archer of ESPN. What'd you make of the way Cooper rebounded after the fumble and how he came back?
Yeah, Cooper's. I thought his 2 touchdown throws were huge, big time throws. The loop pass was something that they rolled the coverage that to the close side. We called it a nub side, and obviously had a good coverage for that particular play, and he just extended the play, had great patience, and hit JT in the corner of the end zone. I thought that was a huge play. No different than the second one to Jalen Brooks. So love his poise. He commands the huddle, keeps us in really good plays. You can see that throughout the day, particularly how we ran the ball. And just because this defense is very challenging, they do a phenomenal job testing you, especially on a short week. So a lot of credit to our players for managing that.
I think
Mike McCarthy very happy with the complimentary football that his team played today. We've got Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. Isaiah, I know we've talked about it a lot this year. Mike McCarthy's talked about it a lot. That hasn't always been the case where your defense turns into offense. That was really the entire second half of this one.
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking about time of possession, and you hear Coach how important that is to him, it positions you to be in position to win the ball game. When your offense is out there and you have splash plays like you saw today where there were big throw touchdowns, and then you have a running game that's able to sustain you in terms of drives and keep you in good down and distance, it literally just shortens the amount of time that your defense is out there. We won the time of possession today by 7 minutes. That's huge. That's huge. Those guys only had 26 minutes of opportunity on the field today offensively for Carolina. And that just means that your defense is going out there and hounding them, right? Which we saw today. Talk about the 6 sacks. You talk about, I don't even know how many pressures they had, but everybody seemingly was playing duck, duck, goose with Bryce Young today. And that's awesome, right? And I know guys like Barry Church appreciates that when they don't have to go out there and be out there on the field for expanded periods of time. They just show up, go out there for 3 downs, make some plays, and go back to the sideline and get some water.
Yeah, you love it when your offense is out there doing what they were able to do and getting you fresh for, your part of the football game. And that's what complimentary football is all about. But I got to give kudos to Mike McCarthy because no matter what the situation seems to be this year, he's always had his troops ready for battle. And that's the players going out there and doing it. I mean, they're fighting it for the name on the back of their jersey, their teammates, and his coaching staff as well, because this team could have easily mailed it in weeks ago, when they lost their franchise quarterback. They could have mailed it in last week when they lost a heartbreaker to Cincinnati and their playoff hopes kind of dwindled away. But they continue to go out here. They continue to fight in all 3 phases. And to me, that has a lot to do with the head coach, Mike McCarthy.
No doubt about it. And you could really say the coaching staff as a whole underneath it
Yes.
as well. Guys like Mike Zimmer, who things did not look pretty early in the season, but they've continuously gotten better. This defense has been borderline one of the best in the NFL since Micah returned. And you have some pressure. Today was no difference. Bryce Young had no chance.
Osa Odighizuwa was a complete madman today. I know he got a sack or 2. I know he was in the backfield. I think he got 4 QB pressures. He was an absolute dog today inside of that defensive line. And when you get that pressure on the interior side, a portion of your defensive line, your defensive ends just continue to find ways to eat.
And we're going to talk to Osa Odighizuwa a little bit later on in the show. But when we come back, we go one-on-one with quarterback Cooper Rush. 3 passing touchdowns from Cooper in this one. What did he have to say after the win?
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT after the Cowboys secure their 5th road win of the 2024 season. It is a 30-14 win over the Carolina Panthers. 3 touchdown passes from Cooper Rush as he joins us now on Cowboys OT. Cooper, that second half, things went right for you guys offensively, all predicated off of the takeaways, and you took advantage. What happened in the second half that was a change from those first 2 quarters?
Yeah, we felt really good in the first half. We were moving the ball. We just stopped ourselves. A couple penalties, my fumble. Other than that, we felt really confident. So the way the defense was playing, getting turnovers, we knew that we just keep executing and things would turn.
Of course, this defense has been playing really well over the last few weeks, but the offense starting to find that balance in the run game. It opens things up for you in a passing sense as well. What does it feel like now compared to maybe a month ago when you took over as the starter, the fact that this offense and the complementary football starting to come together again?
Yeah, I think it starts with those guys up front. We're running the rock. They're really moving guys. Rico's in a real good rhythm with them, and that's been a difference maker. And also, like you said, I think you touched on it, the defense, getting turnovers. You turn the ball over, and we're not turning over as much, and we're trying to just capitalize when they get us the ball.
You said earlier in the week you're really enjoying getting the opportunity to play again and have all these snaps. I mean, are you still having fun? It looked like on the Jalen Brooks touchdown, you were on the sideline just clenching the fist. Are you having fun in games like that where you're able to put your mark on it?
Yeah, that's fun. Obviously, like I said, I'm enjoying it, getting to play ball. It's why you work all these years, is to go out there and you kind of feel like, this is who you are, this is why you work, this is what you're supposed to do, is go play quarterback. And so it's really happy for JB catching that unbelievable play by him, running from all the way on the backside for his first touchdown.
No, that was awesome. An incredible play from Jalen Brooks. Tell me about the offensive line. What have you seen out of them so far? The O-line, lots of young guys up front. How much have they grown?
Yeah, their communication's been off the charts lately, and I think that's the biggest thing. They're on the same page. And when you're on the same page, you're communicating, you always have a chance. And so those guys are coordinated. And then, they're running off the ball, letting Rico go.
Cooper Rush joining us here on Cowboys OT. Cooper, thank you for taking some time. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you on Sunday.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
There he goes, Cooper Rush, as we send you to break here on Cowboys OT. When we come back, more post-game reaction. The Cowboys get the win in Carolina. Welcome back into Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco. The Cowboys get the win. Let's hear from Micah Parsons. He finished with 2 sacks out of the 6 total from Mike Zimmer's defense. They continued to put pressure on Bryce Young.
Yeah, we just keep finding ways to step up. Man, I kind of hit on it, like I said before. We're going to be in these games. We got to step up defensively, understand what we're missing offensively, even some guys on our side, but we just got to keep stepping up. I mean, this was a good team. Gave Eagles a fight, Chiefs, Broncos. I mean, it's a team that, coming in here, we didn't want to take lightly because of the film, what they was putting out there. So we got to find ways to keep putting it together. We got an explosive team next week, too.
How big was Leofold forcing that fumble to kind of get this going?
Oh, that was tough. He made up for it. He can't make a clip now. I needed that, huh? Oh, that was tough. Like I said, he's a guy that's going to keep stepping up for us. He's really doing his thing. Man, it just says, like I said, we're not going to give up. As long as I'm part of this unit, as long as we believe in each other, at the end of the day, I could look to my left and know I could count on them. We fighting for each other, There's a lot of guys fighting for new contracts, guys fighting to take care of their families. So there's still a lot of football to be played, and you don't want to put nothing bad on film or things like that. So, we fighting for each other at this point. At the end of the day, the record's the record, the game's the game. We're going to lose some, we're going to win some, but, it's a special feeling when you can fight for each other. Yeah, it was stop that run. The fact that we was able to hold Hubbard, and also the way the offense was running the ball, complimentary football. They felt like they had to put some points up on the board. They had to get after, get away from the run because it wasn't hitting early on. So, it allowed us to be able to get after the quarterback. So, that's what complimentary football does. When our offense playing that well, can put in consistent drives, push pressure on them, and they had to get away from their game plan.
How difficult was it?
Bro, Osa, I can't, besides, as a veteran guy, consistently just keeps making jumps, keeps getting better. We talk about his future a lot, about where he wants to be and things like that. And what he wants, man, I just see a guy that comes in every day, maximizes his, potential, a guy who's stepping up, being a leader, being the vocal leader at that every day and demands the best and greatness from everyone. So, am I surprised? No. Am I happy for him? I'm super excited because, he makes my job easier. I was like, yep, Osa, keep going to the other side. They're going to have to start playing honest. And, opened a lot of things up. So, as long as he keeps getting better, really good things is happening. I can't really speak as someone who's really not a better person than Osa, for real.
So there's Micah Parsons speaking on how this defense continues to build. He gave a lot of credit there to Osa Odighizuwa. A lot of credit deserves to go to Mike Zimmer as well. We talked about that a bit in the last segment. But, Barry, when a defensive coordinator comes into a situation like this where you're kind of the man after the man.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn had so much success over 3 years here in Dallas that there was always a tough hill for Mike Zimmer to climb. So when expectations were not met early, there was a lot more pressure on guys like Mike Zimmer. How much credit does he deserve to get to this point and have the type of production that this defense has become?
I believe he deserves some credit. I mean, when you look at it, he's been able to get this defense to play at a level towards the latter part of the season that they weren't able to do at the beginning. I mean, not only did Dan Quinn have this team flying around at all cylinders, but he had the locker room as well. I mean, those guys were wanting to play and wanting to run through a brick wall for Dan Quinn out there. So when Mike Zimmer came in with his different culture and his philosophies, it took some getting used to for this defensive side of the football. But when you got a guy like Micah Parsons out there, he's going to make things a lot easier for you out there. And we understand that Micah Parsons is going to eat regardless when he suits up. But what's opening things up for the rest of this defense is the guys are starting to win their one-on-one opportunities. You've seen what Osa was able to do today. Carl Lawson, Golston as well. I mean, those guys are starting to eat because they're getting those one-on-one opportunities, and that's when you see this defense kind of come together as a unit. The rush and cover are working together immensely. So to me, Zimmer, it might have started off slow, but it's starting to pick up strong, and he's starting to get his culture and his point across to his team.
Yeah, there's so many things that happens during the regular season that kind of throw curveballs at you. And obviously he faced more curveballs than a lot of teams. The 49ers have faced a lot of curveballs this year. They're not having the year they want to because of that. So you have to give some grace in regards to Coach Zimmer. And not only did he come in a tough position on the heels of Dan Quinn after a culture had been established, but he also came into an organization that did not have the personnel that typically works for his system. So he's had to work around that. Oh, and then, by the way, there's a bunch of injuries as well. So not excuses, but those are real problems that he had to overcome. And you're starting to see guys really start to grasp on to his system and start to find their role in his system, even amongst all the injuries. A lot of this was pretty much predicated around Micah Parsons. And without the presence of Micah Parsons and without the presence of his big typical one techniques that he likes to have in his defense wasn't that impactful. But now you're starting to see those turnovers start to come. That's what Dallas Cowboys fans and the Dallas Cowboys team is used to. Forcing turnovers, getting pressure up front, all those things are starting to come, and hopefully the wins will follow as well.
That's the thing, is if you can continue to stack good performances one on top of the other, then you have that momentum in the final month of the regular season. You can take it into an offseason, depending on if you make the playoffs or not, or what the coaching staff looks like. But there are still going to be players on this team next year from this year's team, and you're establishing something in the right direction. So plenty more to come here on Cowboys OT. When we come back, we're going to hear from Rico Dowdle. Speaking of momentum, how about 3 straight 100-yard rushing games and another career high for Rico Dowdle? That run game is rocking in Dallas. Welcome into Cowboys OT as we continue to break down the Cowboys' 30-14 win over the Carolina Panthers. Got to start with the Carolina guy himself. How about Rico Dowdle? 3 straight 100-yard rushing games. He's set a career high in each. Now 149 yards on the ground. Here's what he had to say following the game.
Early on in the season, he still had some wrinkles and stuff to figure out in our scheme and what we was doing. And like I said, it was all about the rhythm, and I've been firm on that since the beginning about the rhythm, getting the attempts, and I think we always could have did it, but, timing right now, and it's working right now for us, so I'm not worried about early in the season.
Rico, individually, have you ever had more fun running the football than these last 3 games?
Probably not, honestly. I mean, maybe high school. Had some pretty good games in high school, like back-to-back. A lot of touchdowns. I mean, that's the only thing I'm missing right now, but this is definitely a great time right now. These past 3 weeks, those guys have opened it up, and it's been 3 good weeks in a row.
You spoke about earlier this week how much 1,000 would mean. You're 120 off now. How does it feel to be that close?
Closing in. Definitely feels good. Definitely want to hit that milestone in my first year being a starter, so definitely want to hit that milestone. Looking for it. Definitely can get it.
You're running really physically. The offensive line looks like it's playing a really violent run style. Do you think that's just been the success for you?
Good.
Do you think that's just been the success for you guys is leaning into that identity? It's just a physical run game?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, those guys are playing violent up front, and they're moving people off the ball. And when they doing that, it make it easy for me. And they making my job real easy right now.
Rico Dowdle, the 3rd 100-yard rushing game in a row. I mean, you've been very adamant. Get this man the rock.
20
let
touches.
him go, and here it is. He's making it pay off.
Yeah. Give him the ball 20 times and good things happen. It's like Dorothy clicking her heels. You just know what's going to happen, okay? His dude, Rico Dowdle, has been absolutely balling when he has consistent opportunities. 20 touches is a magic number for him. I think all 3 games now he's had 20 touches. I believe he's had 100 yards every single time.
Every single time?
I think every single time. All right, so not under 20, not close to 20, 20 touches or more, and good things are going to happen. I'm super excited for him. He was the renowned starter. He was a dude all the way back to training camp. He earned that position. Things happen. A whole lot of things happen. Sports, politics, all the stuff that happens in sports. But he stayed steadfast through it all, and he kept his head straight. He kept his head down, and he waited on his opportunity. And when he got it, you see exactly what he's doing with it. All he's doing is turning out hundos week by week.
No, he's definitely taking advantage of his opportunities when you look at it. And they're getting consistent opportunities throughout the game. And like you said, every time he gets above 20 carries, he's getting over 100 yards. And he did a great thing by shouting out that offensive line because they are helping him out in a huge way. I mean, you see some of these lanes he's running through. He's not getting touched till he's 5 or 6 yards downfield. So kudos to that offensive line as well. But Rico's definitely taking advantage of his opportunities out there. He sees the vision. He's doing well, cutting off his blockers out there. And to me, it seems like the longer the game goes, the better he goes. He just keeps wearing down defenses to where when that fourth quarter comes around, he's breaking 1, 2, 3 tackles, and he's getting these first downs and carrying his team. So shout out to Rico and that offensive line. They're doing a heck of a job with this run game.
I thought the stat that they shared during the broadcast was tremendous. It's been 10 years since we've seen the NFL as a whole has seen an undrafted free agent running back finish with 3 straight 100-yard games. Awesome. The last one to do it was Arian Foster back in the day. He was very good with the Houston Texans. So with all that being said, I mean, you're finding depth from Rico Dowdle, who has stepped up in a big way, but you're also finding depth on that offensive line. This is actually credit to Bobby Belt on Twitter. I thought this was a great analysis. On the Jalen Tolbert touchdown, this was the Cowboys personnel. Cooper Rush, undrafted free agent. Rico Dowdle, undrafted free agent. Same for Hunter Lipke, who was on the field at that point. Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, Terrence Steele, Brevin Spann-Ford, all of those guys. Wow. There were 7 undrafted free agents on the field at one time out of the 11 players on the personnel side of things, undrafted. That's a credit to the scouting department, but a credit to those guys stepping up in a 100%. Big way.
I mean, you can find talent everywhere in the National Football League. And like you just said, all those guys being undrafted out there, kudos to them for taking advantage of their opportunities, the scouting department finding those guys, and the coaching staff out there developing them, trusting them to go out there and get the job done. And each of those guys have had their share of success on the football field. So to me, kudos to that whole organization and making sure that these guys, even though they're undrafted, they're talented and they're getting their opportunity.
Let me ask you this, Barry, from an undrafted standpoint. You were undrafted yourself. Is there an extra chip on the shoulder with you and then the other undrafted players around you to step up whenever these times arise?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you got to take advantage of each and every opportunity you have as an undrafted guy because nothing's for certain. I mean, you get cut the next day. If you miss a practice, if you miss a tackle, I used to be so afraid that if I miss a tackle out there or I miss an assignment, I might not have my job for the rest of the season. So that kind of just accountability for yourself to go out there and make sure you're on every single nut and screw about it is what brings these undrafted guys to the level that they are and the play that they have.
And undrafted cats got a chip on their shoulder. I don't care what Barry says. Them boys don't stop. I was drafted in the 4th round, and I tell you what, I never felt safe either. But I can tell you what, the cats that were undrafted just had some kind of dog mentality that you just looked at and be like, man, I need to get some of that. And that's exactly what happened. You see these guys talking about 7 out of 11 players out there. The scouting department does a heck of a job. Okay, Will McClay and the rest of the scouting department, those guys do an amazing job. They're arguably the league's best, and they continually find talent like that. And it's a big reason that why they don't feel as if they need to spend a lot of times in free agency because they know that the scouting department is going to find some diamonds in the rough. So it's a gift and a curse. Sorry, Dallas Cowboys Nation, but you guys are blessed to have an amazing scouting department, and that's maybe just be the reason why you're not going to get any big-time free agents.
It might be nice. It might be nice to hit on a couple of drafts.
Yeah, exactly.
They've had a rough couple of drafts. We'll talk about that later on. There's more shows down the line to hit that one. But when we come back here on Cowboys OT, we go one-on-one with Osa Odighizuwa right after this. The Cowboys defense finishes with 6 sacks, 4 takeaways in the win against the Carolina Panthers, holding Bryce Young to just 14 points offensively as the Cowboys got after the former #1 overall pick. And we are now joined by Osa Odighizuwa from the defensive line. And Osa, it was a phenomenal game. You were pointed out multiple times by Greg Olsen and the TV broadcast for the amount of times you guys had success on that defensive line. What went right for you guys in this one?
I feel like we did a good job of, one, being able to put them in passing situations and then just capitalize on that.
So he talked about those situations, the passing situations. They had to throw it a ton of times throughout the game. When that happens, does the mindset change at all from the guys up front, you, Mozzie Smith, Micah, to have the type of success that you guys on the defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, we got rushers on our front. So when we get in those passing situations, that's what really gets me excited. I know that's what really gets Micah excited in our D-line to be able to go hunt.
Did you guys see anything on film this week that allowed you guys to pin your ears back a little bit more going into this matchup?
Definitely we had some detailed preparation, and there were some keys that we were able to take advantage of.
What were some of those keys along the way?
I'm not going to tell you.
You don't want to let that one slip at all in terms
No,
of
sir.
what's going on? You still
Nah.
got 3 more games left to play. I like it. I respect it moving forward. Now, with that being said, the confidence level continues to rise on the defensive side of the ball. How do you continue that momentum going into next week in a matchup with Tampa Bay?
You know, just continue to lock in on the preparation, make sure that everyone's good to go, make sure that we're in our books, make sure everything is detailed and paying attention to detail just so we can get it done and have a good time, you know?
How much have you guys taken steps forward from a defensive line standpoint as the year has gone on underneath Mike Zimmer?
Definitely I feel like we've just been getting better as the week's been going on, just starting to get it down a little bit more every week. The way I see it, it's a very long season, and you have a long time, and you can get better throughout the season. So I think we've just been taking the right approach, being consistent in our work and our preparation, and starting to pay off.
It certainly is. It paid off on the first play of the third quarter as well. The strip sack from you guys, forcing the fumble, then it leads to a touchdown offensively. What did you see on that play that allowed you to be successful?
You know, I feel like after a certain point you start to get a feel for the game, and you know you can start to fill it out a little bit. I just felt that I was able to take advantage.
You certainly did. Osa, appreciate you taking some time here on Cowboys OT. Congratulations on the win. Good luck next week against Tampa Bay.
Thank you.
Osa Odighizuwa, one of the playmakers on that Cowboys defensive side of the ball, getting things done against the Carolina Panthers. Once again, 30-14, the final score. When we come back, plenty more post-game reaction from inside the locker room out in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Cowboys get their 6th win of the NFL season.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Welcome back into Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco. I'm Kyle Yeomans leading you through post-game reaction between the Cowboys and the Panthers, a 30-14 win. Let's hear from CeeDee Lamb, finished with over 100 yards yet again at the wide receiver position. He was at the century mark at halftime with a touchdown. Here's CeeDee.
How big is it to have the run game to kind of get this offense going the way you need it to go today?
You always got to start somewhere, and last week was not so much great, but it was a good stepping stool for us. And today, to come out here and overall just getting the end zone multiple times, it was a good feeling overall.
To not only get the win, but to contribute to the win in the fashion you did. First player in Cowboys franchise history to get 1,000-yard receiving in the first 5 years. What does that mean?
Means a lot. Means all the hard work is paying off. Mad consistent with my work and the approach towards every year, and it's good to see that it shows up. And obviously I'm grateful for it, grateful for the opportunity, grateful for being in this organization and doing what I'm doing. Looking forward to many more of those. Yeah.
It took a lot of hard hits today in the cold. How tough was it just to get through all that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a well-known thing that my shoulder's hurting, so I feel like these guys are definitely trying to put their best hit on me. So, I mean, you got to come a little harder than that. No, you know. But
Xavier Woods, yeah.
Yeah, nah, he's a. I mean, I played on this team for a couple of years, so I know what he's capable of. That was a good hit by him, but you're gonna need to bring a little more.
You go back to the touchdown drive, not just that catch, but the 2 big catches on that drive for you before that.
Yeah.
You speak about your mentality. Is it a mindset of put the team on my back? What are you thinking?
I always had that mentality, and obviously offensively, the guys are looking for me as a spark. So with that, I'm going to continue to do that, and I look at myself as a spark as well. I feel like I can personally score from anywhere on the field, no matter how deep. So with that being said, I want to be a threat every time I touch it.
A few guys said Luke Schoonmaker had quite a speech as team captain this week, talking
Absolutely.
about don't let us win this one.
Mm-hmm.
What stuck out from that speech? What did he say?
Those words alone. Obviously, momentum is a It's a hell of a feeling, and I feel like it's definitely, what we can do so far is obviously control what we control, and the narrative is going to be what it is. But at the end of the season, we got to finish strong, and you got to start somewhere, so don't let us win today.
How real is that belief?
It's real, very real. I always have belief. I don't care how many games we lost. I don't care how many games we won. I just know how much we got to do to finish the season out, and then the rest will take care of itself. So as for us, we'll see y'all next week on Sunday night.
CeeDee, as one of the team leaders, what was your reaction to Jalen Brooks getting his first career touchdown?
Man, excited for him. He deserved it, but he definitely owed me a dinner because I got out that play so demanding. I didn't know what the play was, but once again, it's not about me. It's about him, and I'm happy for him to get his first one under his belt. Many more for him to come. He's a great player, and he practiced real hard, so it's worth it.
Did you change your plates at halftime?
Yeah, I had to.
Why is that?
You mentioned about Panthers being a favorite for the first time
Yeah.
in 2 years. I wonder if you guys talked about that at all, and if that was any type of...
Yeah, it was brought up. Obviously, you're not going to be oblivious to what's being said around you or about your team. So, it wasn't used as any motivation. We were coming out here and doing what we got to do regardless. So, shout out to whoever thought the Panthers was going to win, but they got this one wrong.
There was a point in the first half where you and Rico combined for 99-point-something% of the offense. I know you guys have other weapons, and it certainly didn't finish that way.
Yeah.
Have you guys found a nice rhythm with the two of you kind of being the tent poles?
Absolutely, man. You got to find a way to win, and right now that's our way to win. And you got to try to stop both of us. And Rico's playing great ball. He's been playing great for this past month. And once again, I see these guys every day for years, so I know what they're capable of. And for y'all, this is new to y'all. This is not so much new to me. So I'm excited for him to come out here and do what he do, and I'm proud of him. I let him know every week. And again, next week, I'm hoping he can get the same result.
How important is it for you guys to continue to reward the defense as they start to just really turn up on the takeaway?
That's how you win games, bro. You got to compliment the defense, reward them for their hard work. And as for us, that's what I feel like the season we've been failing to do. They've been doing, they haven't been getting as many turnovers, but the stops, the turnover on downs, the punts, we got to go out there and capitalize, give them the confidence to go back out there and do it again.
So CeeDee, very complimentary about the guys around him having some success. Of course, Jalen Brooks, Jalen Tolbert each had a touchdown, along with CeeDee Lamb in that win. Back with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. Guys, when it comes to the wide receiver position, it is CeeDee and then a significant gap up until probably Brandon Cooks is your number 2. Today it looked like that, which I think is a good thing for this Cowboys offense. You fed your playmaker the ball early, and he rewarded you with 100 yards plus in the first half.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's going to be your guy. He's going to be the guy that you want to get the rock to as often as possible. There's no doubt about it. There's no question as far as where the ball should go. The defense is always going to be trying to find a way to double-team him and get him multiple looks. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to force feed him early, allow for him to get his flow in the game, move him around, make it hard for the defense to be able to identify where he's at. Put him on the ball, put him off the ball, put him in motion, put him in the slot, all the things, right, to give him the best advantage so that you can go to him during those breaks and be like, hey, what are you feeling today? What looks good? What do you want to see more of, and what opportunities are available? And then you find a way to include that into your game plan.
Yeah, without a doubt. Look, CeeDee Lamb is going to ball out no matter who's at the quarterback position. He's that type of talent when you talk about NFL receivers out there. The key is to make sure you get his confidence going early in the game, and that's exactly what Mike McCarthy was able to do. Feed him with, slants, bubble screens, just get the ball in his hands and let him do work. But to me, what the most impressive part about, CeeDee Lamb this year overall is his, statistically he may be down a little bit, but the leader he's grown into it's night and day compared to what it was in the past. Because he could have easily folded it in just like the rest of his team, when Dak went down or when Cooper Rush filled in and he only had 45 yards passing. He could have folded it in when he hurt his shoulder, but he didn't. He continued to fight. He continued to go out there and scratch and claw and find ways to be productive for this offense, and that's forced the rest of the guys, the secondary wide receivers, to step their game up as well. And that's what you're seeing from guys like Brooks and Tolbert. Just watching the big dog CeeDee Lamb go out there and do his thing forces everybody else to step up their game. So the leader he has become this season is pretty impressive. Now,
only one reception for Brooks, one reception for Tolbert. They were both touchdowns, which is great to see, and they were great plays. But has your thought process around the depth at wide receiver changed at all down the stretch? The rest of this offense, I think the offensive line, in my opinion, has played better, and you feel good about what you have there from a young standpoint moving forward. I don't know if I feel that way about wide receiver.
I don't at all. They need more at the wide receiver position, and they're going to have to address that in the offseason because when you look at it, the Tolberts, the Brooks, even the Cooks of the world have not been able to consistently beat that one-on-one coverage or consistently be able to take advantage of one-on-ones. Even in zone coverage, they seem to be just blanketed up, not being able to be security blankets for their wide receiver out there. So to me, you got CeeDee Lamb. He's a bona fide dog out there, but when the offseason comes around, you're going to have to address this wide receiver position because as of right now, it's just not enough.
Yeah, it might be a position where they need to go out and get you a 1B. Because right now, Brandon Cooks was supposed to be your number 2. Obviously, there's a whole lot of things, injuries that played a part in it, but he's also not the youngest spring chicken around. He's been around the league for a very long time. So how much time does he have left? Do you retain him? All those things, right, that the offseason brings. But you might want to look at bringing in somebody that can be a 1B and not a 2 that you have to equally respect on the field with CeeDee Lamb.
That's the thing, is you got to find some level of consistency across the depth chart as well, not just that number 1 guy. He's fantastic. If he has a game like that, you're going to have a lot of success. But you want to see a little bit more underneath that. I think we saw a glimpse of it today. You need more moving forward. All right, when we come back here on Cowboys OT, we put this one away, tie a bow on it, look ahead to a Sunday night football matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We preview the next matchup when we come back.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
30-14, the final score. The Cowboys get the win in Carolina. They keep their playoff hopes, though they may be slim, alive, going at least one more week into Week 16 of the NFL season. They take down the Panthers, continue their success on the road as we close things out here on Cowboys OT alongside Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Gentlemen, how do you keep this momentum rolling against a primetime matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I need this team to whatever, momentum or whatever mentality they had going into these games these past couple weeks, keep that same mentality. Whatever, motivates you to go out there and play at the highest level, make that your motivation going forward. I mean, you done took the spot about, controlling your own destiny and all that. That's out of the window. Right now, you got to play for the name on the back of your jersey, your fellow teammates out there, and use that motivation going forward to put the best ball you can on the football field.
Go to the film. You're playing an opponent that's tough, but you also are playing an opponent that has been playing the entire season. So whatever tails they have, whatever traits they have, whatever consistencies that they have in their system is going to be exposed in that film. So go lean on your analytics, watch the film, and go out there and use it to make some plays.
Well, and they're playing for their playoff lives as well as they continue forward in this 2024 regular season. We will be out at AT&T Stadium next week, 6 p.m. Central Time, start time for Cowboys pregame live. We will see you in Arlington. That does it for Cowboys OT. The Cowboys get the win over the Panthers.